The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Hello everybody, hope you're doing well, better than me anyways, kind of under the weather, but I felt the need to do a broadcast, even though it's Super Bowl Sunday, and normally, excuse me, I don't do a broadcast or I don't do anything special on that day every year because it doesn't make sense. Most of the people out there are going to be focused on the football game instead of anything I have to say. It's already hard enough to get, a regular listenership on top of having that block, take away from your audience a little bit. But that being said, there's a lot that we've been seeing happen in the news as per the current situation geopolitically. And there are so many channels talking about the so-called breaking news and the events that are leading up to some kind of world conflict, which it appears that our leaders are hell-bent on playing this game of chicken right to the end, and somebody's going to crash into somebody else or throw the first punch, unfortunately. And I hope many of you who've watched the broadcast here over the years have gotten their preps up, because prepping is part of the things we talk about here. But the things about prepping is that it takes more than just having items to sustain you. It's about prepping your heart and your mind, because of these little schmeckles, who we call leaders, decide to push buttons and unleash holy hell on the world, we're going to lose a lot of people that we know along the way. And you might be in a perfectly safe zone, and that's great for you. In fact, I think unless they want to hit one of the, I guess they call them tertiary targets, I'm probably good all the way around, even in the fallout sense, even though we have to even prepare for that. Some of my closest friends have been getting all kinds of information on how to prepare for fallout, and I'll leave that in the description box along with most of the other things that we'll discuss here on the show today. But as I've, the whole idea that it could all end in an instant for some of us, because we've got people who are having a pissing match that seems to be unnecessarily happening, at least from the point of view of the common man and woman. All that is a nothing burger. And I think I could get in a room and settle this a lot better than the morons with small schmeckles. I mean, that's what I think these people are. These people who have to have the big guns and all the power. I just think they have little schmeckles. baby carrots, and so they've got to project being big in other areas. And I think part of the reason I'm sick is because my anxiety level's been a little higher because of, let's just say, if you've been watching this channel, I've been warning you that we're heading down a road we didn't want to go, and I haven't done many videos in a while, just very few actually, because I felt there was something imminent coming, and I wanted to focus away from that. But as this stuff gets closer, and I want to tell you, many of you are a lot luckier than you think, because if this goes down, or any kind of event happens that could disrupt our daily lives, many of you have families, and I'm telling you, as a person who knows, as long as I survive, if the big bomb happens above me, you can't do anything about that, right? You just kind of like burn up real quick, and there you go. But I think I mean I'm not in the best situation for a fallout defense. A lot of that is my fault, but I don't have a basement like other people. But I think if I could get past all that really stuff that's out of my control, the rest of it would be fairly easy for me comparatively to other people. It's going to be hard, but it'd be fairly easy. You can get past a nuclear strike and the fallout, because I know how to grow my own food. I've lived in a survivalist mode because of a lot of circumstances that have happened to me, which has led me to where I'm at. A lot of it was stupid decisions because I got hot-headed, and I do that every once in a while, and I say the hell with it, and I just walk away, and then it leaves me in a bad spot. I cut ties pretty easily, or I used to, or I probably still do, because I don't tolerate BS. I really don't. It's like there comes a point where I'm like, okay, I'm like Putin right now. I put a line in the sand a lot of times, and if it gets crossed, I'm like, okay, I'm done, or that's it, whatever. But it's in some ways put me in a really bad position, because the support group is almost null and void. I mean, there are people I could count on, but in general, there's not much there. And I don't have my own family. I don't have children, and I guess that in some ways that's going to be easier. I won't have to worry about their safety, but I also won't have anybody to rely on when this all comes down. If this all comes down, at least that's been coming to my into my thoughts a lot over the last few years. But as this nonsense is happening geopolitically, it's starting to become more real, that I'm like, why the heck would what's the point of, I'm going to be by myself. If you have a family core, if you have, there's a lot of reasons to keep fighting for things. But you start realizing it's like, what if I get sick? I'm going to be in trouble, because I'm sick now and there's nobody really to take care of me. Not that I need taking care of, but as we get older, and with the breakdown of society that would come with such an event. I mean, Forget about going to the grocery store, ladies and gentlemen. There is no more going to the grocery store, or for that matter, probably going to work. I don't know what happens, honestly, if something like that takes place. What happens with the banks and our mortgages and all those sort of things? Because I'm telling you, what's the point of going to work? You know what I'm saying? There'd be no work. But the banks are going to want their money probably more than ever. Unless we're lucky enough that Vlad takes those out too. That would be pretty awesome. But I mean, that's a first strike, Vlad. Take those banks out. It'd probably do the whole world a favor, right? Wipe out our debt. Don't you have good hackers? Can you do that, Vlad? Can you just wipe out everybody's debt? That would be great. They won't do that. They're there to take care of themselves, just like our fabulous leaders who have bunkers for themselves, but we don't even have fallout shelters. I've checked. There's nothing in my area, and my lousy mayor won't get back to me now. I called them, asked. They said they'd get back to me. Now there's nothing. Every time you call, it says, well, he's too busy. He's too busy, because they don't want to talk to me. They don't have an answer. And if there is a fallout shelter, they're all reserved for their buddies and friends. That's how it always is. So in some ways, after some major event like that would happen, maybe society could reform itself and a little bit and try to eliminate all the those kind of people reaching for power. Because it's always the dirtbags that reach for power. Always the small schmeckled pricks that reach for power. You never get somebody who just wants to improve it all for us. So I guess where I'm going with this, ladies and gentlemen, is getting back to what I was saying earlier. If you have families right now, take it from somebody who doesn't have any of that. And if all these things happen, you know, let me just say this. There's so much hate in the world, and the leaders of the planet push it like crazy. I say it's because of where we're at. It's time to love each other with more, with so much more passion, and in these days when we don't know if we're going to be here 3, 4, 5 days from now. And those people who don't understand what I'm talking about, I mean, if you're not paying attention to the increased tensions, the Cold War, I don't think ever got this heated. The Cuban Missile Crisis, I don't believe, I wasn't there, but it couldn't be on this level of insanity. And unlike back in the Cold War era, early on, there were shelters to go to. There's none of that now. Our politicians don't even care about us. They only cared about themselves. And whatever the Ukrainian business is about, it's bigger than that. And we'll share articles so you can see that. I don't know if I want to discuss. I think the discussion of loving who you got in your life right now is more important than worrying about what these guys are going to do, because they're going to do whatever they're going to do, and some of us will make it and some of us won't if the ultimate mutual assured destruction event happens. And hopefully they target each other instead of the cities. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Be right back, guys.
Don't think about touching that dial.
That would be a mistake.
The John Lebang Show will be right back after this.
That's guaranteed, man. Like some good Thai stick.
Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office cleaned? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane in the Glass. For a beautiful shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than the Eye-Raider convention.
I mean, it's horrifying that I feel bad for the people who are so bought into the entire system, where they're so dependent on everything, because with these morons running the world, especially the ones, and I apologize, guys. I'm just hanging in here to try to get through this show, because I guess what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is just appreciate your loved ones right now, and take the time in not only when you're prepping for everything and getting ready for what might come. Don't neglect them in all this, because we don't know if there's going to be a tomorrow for any of us with what looms over our heads. And for the ones that's not going to have anyone, if that comes down in the, it's a little bit of a scary thought to think, I don't even have, and this is a little bit of, I don't have even anybody near me outside of my, my mom. Like, my brother and sister are still far away, and if the leaders of the world do the thing, 15 miles is going to be rough. You know what I'm saying? You probably won't have, there are going to be supply chain issues, food issues. Not many people are going to be going on 30 and 40, 50, 60-minute trips to see their family. There probably won't be the means to do that. So if you have them close to you, in these next few days, I just suggest you guys get tight, and you love each other more than you ever have. If you've got anybody who you kind of broke ties with that you kind of regret or something, reach out to them. This world needs more love, and it doesn't. There's so much hate and destruction and evil in this world. And it's perpetrated by our leaders, and it spreads like a virus throughout the culture. If our leaders don't care, if our leaders are evil, it's going to cultivate itself and grow and metastasize in throughout the culture. And we're there. I mean, our leaders don't even, at least here in the United States, at least Putin himself, he's got places for his people to go, and they've done tests. Our leaders don't even care. They keep stealing from the treasury, from your pockets. And if this, they take a 2-week recess when all this is coming down. Like they know something's going to happen. In a time of crisis, you're telling me your politicians, your supposed leaders are going on break. What kind of people are? That is not a leader. That's a coward. And cowards, they'll send everybody else to do their bidding for them and to destroy them for their benefit. And I hope that mankind one day will find a way to drop the idea of leaders and governments, because leaders and governments are the biggest murderers ever in the history, even more than religion, because that encompasses both. A lot of people have problems with religion, but really they were run by leaders, and in some cases they were the government. So government and leaders are really the reason mankind has faced so much evil in our existence. And we have to get past that, and hopefully one day we can, because look what it's led to us here in the United States. It's led to Joe Petto, a man who is a criminal, running a syndicate, a full-blown crime syndicate that has ties to China, a supposed enemy, and has ties to the Ukraine, the place we're getting ready to cause some serious damage in. And that's just going to be the front lines, and maybe Poland and whatever the surrounding, if that just stays on a conventional level. But it's not going to be. Somebody's going to get desperate. Even Joe Petto himself just the other day said, when Russia and America start shooting at each other, that's a world war. In our media, the U.S. media is doing absolutely nothing to prepare you for the fact that Russia has the most nukes on the planet, and Vladimir Putin has threatened nuclear war. And in the coming days, the 15th and the 16th, they're going to have probably, I don't know for a fact, but probably the largest ballistic missile exercise in the history of my life, which is going to encompass land, sea, and space, air. They're on high alert, and they're getting ready to test everything. You see, that's a show of force, whether our media wants to admit that or not. VP is not playing around. JP, or JB, if you want to go by his actual initials, is playing a game that makes no sense. He's either protecting something or he's doing the bidding of China. And the bidding of China would love to see the two big boys knock each other out so they could come in and be the leader of the world. So, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have prepared all your fallout shelters or have an idea on what you're doing just in case the events happen. We'll leave links to some places where you can get some ideas. Love each other, because who knows what tomorrow brings. And if you're fortunate to have people who love you and you love, I think it's a good time to show all that as much as possible in the next coming days. Wouldn't hurt anyways, If there's people you want to reach out to, make peace with, I don't think that's a bad idea right now. Maybe we can change the frequency of where we're headed, with some of us just trying to share a little love in the world. I don't know if that can happen. I'm pretty sure they're hell-bent on making this happen. It fits in with all the NWO playbooks and mindsets. And if you knock off the two big boys, the communist Chinese model is exactly what the next world order would love to rule by. Gets the job done, you know what I'm saying? Keeps the people in line, because the people are getting tired of dealing. There's a lot of people that are trying to have figured out that leaders suck. They're always going to suck, and they're going to lead us into terrible things. And along the way, they're just going to give us little tiny things to placate us until they get to where they have to go. So, I don't know if that was a great show, depressing or whatever, but we still have about 3 minutes left. So, some things, if it all goes bad, that I want you guys to really keep your focus on. Once the fallout, if the nuclear exchange happens and you survived it, you survived the fallout, there's gonna be things that you're gonna have to be ready for. And one thing are foreign troops coming in to save you. I wouldn't have a problem if I saw the Canadian patch being here in Detroit. If I saw the Canadian soldier coming to rescue us, I would think that's a great. I wouldn't be afraid of that. But if you start seeing Chinese soldiers coming to save you, that might be something a little more worrisome. Because I don't think Europe is going to be able to come to anybody's aid. And I don't think our government cares to come to our aid. They'll act like it after they, let the country take a beating. And when they come out of their little groundhog holes and go, oh, look at how terrible that is. Bad Russia. Bad Russia. Whatever, if they survive. See, we'll be able to tell what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, what they really want by what gets officially targeted. We know the installations and the military bases probably will, and the command centers, but if they start targeting random cities, lots of them, then we know it was for to cut down on the people, because there would be no need to do that. You know what I'm saying? In the description box below, I'm going to leave you the audiobook from William Cooper, his Behold the Pale Horse. Put that on while you're getting all your preps, and you'll be amazed when you realize when he was telling you this and how everything's transpiring. You'll be amazed, and you'll probably have a clue of what's coming next. Let's hope for a miracle, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hope for some kind of intervention of some sort to avert this potential disaster. And I want to thank you all for all the time you've given me throughout the year, in the years, I should say. You guys are my friends and my family, and I wish I could be with a lot of you in the coming days and months, because I think it would be, I just wish I could be there to support each other. Good luck for everybody, and hopefully we'll be back here and we can say we averted all this, and we can talk about other things. Till then, though, thank you for everything, guys. We'll see you soon. Love you all. Bye.
We have liftoff. Tune in again
next week. Same time, same space, same station.